Hey, Tim, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz. No fluff. Green screen gone. Strip back. Remembrance Day. It's tomorrow, and I'm here to remind you because I know that life is chaotic at the moment and it's dragging us in a million different ways. But there is one thing that has a right and a wrong, and that is tomorrow that people gave their lives across the world, friend and foe. The war to end all wars didn't end shit. Did it teach us a lesson? No, it didn't. And we're about to see some clips tonight. But tomorrow will be a gauge of your character. What is more important? Is it going to be what you do in a corporate office with no windows beside Helen, who gets to get off on the Titanic on the life rafts? Is it going to be, that's it, you stand up and say to the office, to the school, wherever you're working, guys, it is Remembrance Day in 10 minutes. Stand up, come away from your cubicle. They gave their life, you can give 1 minute. Will you do it? Let's see, because tomorrow is about remembering. And what we remember is what defines us. All right? We ask questions. What would you ask of the fallen if you could talk to them right now? And a lot of people on Facebook have sent messages. There was none when I last looked at the YouTube video I put up for you guys for a short. No one put a comment in that I saw. Today's a call out before we start for a couple of people. One, to a fantastic guy called Kenneth John Graham, who was a US fella, and he's about to become an Australian citizen, I believe, today. He served from 1965 on HMAS Perth. He was served on HMAS Melbourne when it ran into the Voyager. He's been in Australia since before 1960, but he's come over and now he's one of us. So to him, all the best to you, and let's get some thumbs up for that fella, the Yank, who decided to change his allegiance to Aussie. Took him that long to like Vegemite. The other one, here's a can of the infantry toothpaste. Boom, what are you drinking at the moment? Are you out there, Dan? Dan Atwell, his son, promising young boxer? What about all the members that are serving now in harm's way? What's going to happen to you in the future? We've got some pictures we're putting up in a minute in case you don't know who to commemorate tomorrow. A name that you can say out loud that can tell you that you remembered. Remember the 2 times that a man dies is one, when he physically dies and leaves this world. And the second is when his name is uttered out loud for the last time. I'm doing all right, Dior. It's been a bit hectic, a bit of computer dramas here. As you can see the background, you don't get to see it very often. How beautiful is this image in the background? That's a painting of me and my lovely daughter there that you can see there. That's a painting. That was my little girl, and it was done on Remembrance Day. My daughter's born on Remembrance Day, the 11th of the 11th, 2011. I'm born on Anzac Day. That's who I am. It's what I am. G'day, Jenny. How you going? Brycey from WA. Hi, everyone. Me and Dad. Oh, it's Liam. Me and Dad are hoping to be here for the stream. Good to have you here. We've got a veteran right there, Stevie Bryce, who's getting looked after by his carer, which is his son, Liam. Brycey, Senior NCO from Brisbane Battalions. Nobes, how you going, mate? Good to have you here. We've got Staney, Hollywood, phenomenal painting. It's a beautiful painting. It was painted by a guy called Magoo from the God Squad. He put the Australian flag in the background because he knows that I bleed red, white and blue, MAGA, Make Australia Great Again. He put my uniform from the MFO, the Multi-Force Organisation task force from the Sinai I was talking to you last night, Hollywood. And that hug that my daughter is giving, she turns 14 tomorrow, is her pretending to love me. I remember the conversation I had with her, go, just give me a hug like you really, really love me. And she did that, and I caught the moment. And when they gave it to me at God's School, when I was doing public speaking down there, Dave Fuller, thank you very much, the head of the club, president of the club, got tears in my eyes. I gave them a Skippy badge, big brass one that Kingy gave me in return. So beautiful. Rome, it represents everywhere we've come from. The shield here to protect us, the slouch hat in the background, the evil doll sitting behind it, the red sash, my poetry on the wall behind it. If you had a look at the thumbnail today, did you see Benjamin Chuck, the image of that beautiful young man who lost his life between Timmy Applin and Palms in Afghanistan? I don't want you to just think of the names of the people that are part of your family. Think of the names of those that stood beside him. I've got some questions here that I'd ask the dead if I could right now. Put in comments, what would you say to the young gallant men? And I'm going to motivate you by listening to this, but it's also going to make you fucking angry. This is a lest we forget moment. This is about, do we deserve the legacy of those that fell? Who will do nothing for Remembrance Day tomorrow? And if you can't commemorate for 1 minute, should you even be allowed to vote? I say no. Right, let's have a look at this. This team is sad. It's heartbreaking. This man is about to spill it all out. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, this has just happened in the UK, World War II veteran, what his reaction is to the way the world is today, and all of his friends that died, would he do it again? Are you ready? Ready, please, Mr. Music. G'day, Bretty. G'day, Riley.
This viral video has gone viral for a reason. For those just joining us, take a listen to World War II veteran Alec Penstone, who actually regrets the sacrifice made by so many, given the state of the country in 2025. Here he is speaking to GMB and Kate Garraway and what's the other guy? Adel Ray. Take a listen to this.
Our message is, I can see in my mind's eye there was rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though?
What do you mean by that? Is that trying to catch this man up? He's probably 103 years old. Are you trying to put words into his mouth so he says the goddamn obvious, and then you can vilify him and say, if you think that way, well, fuck you too? No, he's right. His friends are dead. They didn't come back. And now he's had the silent throttle of the hands around his neck from those that didn't fight beside him, that are making the rules for him now. He's done his bit. He's paid his price. He's suffered daily. And this is what he gets in return. Keep going, son.
Well, what we fought for, was our freedom. We find that even now it's downsight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Ant Middleton.
Hear what he said. He said the world for the UK was in a better position when he went to World War II and fought to keep the demons at bay off their shores than what it is now. Are they getting invaded? Yes, they are. By illegal immigration, by legal immigration, by the traitors in their political class and the left-wing leaning university people. The same is happening in Australia, but they're not illegal. They're actually doing it in front of our face legally, while still asking you, while telling you we're a sexual pervert, but only if you're white, and only if you're male, and mainly if you're infantry. In the Australian Army, we still want you to go and volunteer to go and fight and die for another country that can come here for free and take your unemployment benefits, make you come last in the line at the doctor's queue, fill our hospital emergency areas, and leech off our system. Right, keep going.
The fight was not worth it, the sacrifice. Is Alec Penstone right?
The quick answer to that is yes, Mark, he's right. And I think it goes a lot deeper than the interview.
Guys, we're not going to stick on that negative subject. We'll get that out of there. We're going to do a little bit of education here too to help you out, because I didn't come here to make you upset. I didn't come here to make you angry. And that's right. That's the Roman army in the background for the people of the Black Legion. Freddie Cars, good stuff. Nobes, my first Remembrance Day serving tomorrow. I have the honour of being on a local catafalque party. Well done to you, mate. Remember, don't wiggle your toes, hold your breath, close your eyes and dream of England, and it'll be amazing how quick you come and greet the pavement. Don't do that, mate. Drink some water, but mostly drink drinks like Gatorade, shit like that. Get some electrolytes into your system. Okay, we've got some data here, team. Right, first what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a quick question. The first person that died, in the Australian uniform, who was it? You're going to be very surprised. And it was almost eerie. Let's have a look. Bam. This is the fella. The first fella to lose his life. This is what makes me angry about our channel too. As soon as it's something to do with tribute, something nice, about the fallen or tribute, it always gets the least amount of views from those that are actually going to follow the footsteps of those that have fallen. So I'd ask you, who's going to remember you? If you lose your life in training, you lose your mind, or you lose it overseas, who's going to remember you? It's an interesting question. Okay, this is the first fella, Able Seaman John Courtney. He was the first Australian killed in World War I. He was a Navy guy in New Guinea and killed by a German. Not World War II, World War I. So we know that it was the infantry army reserve that ended up going to Kokoda and fighting the Japanese, but it was all laid out. The Navy ended up getting killed by the Germans in New Guinea at a communications area getting raided by Navy, and he lost his life, and other people were wounded too. There was also a British, an Aussie that was part of a British unit that got wounded, that died not long after, but that's crazy. The first person killed in World War I for Australia was a Navy guy by a German in New Guinea. Incredible. And that was at, there was a bunch of them that were wounded and killed there, Bitapaka, in New Guinea. So God bless them, lest we forget. We'll have the ode at the end. 1930, New South Wales must still be on daylight savings. It's 8 o'clock here. Yeah, it is. It is, Harley. Yeah. Right. So what else have we got? So that was the first fella that was ever killed. What do you think about that? Okay. What's the next one? Bam. This is a fella that you can think of tomorrow. This is a guy who lost his life in the Boer War before we'd actually become a nation, had our baptism by fire, so to speak. So this is Samuel Charles Atchison. Remember, you die twice. When you physically die, Samuel has lost his life. But the next time is when his name is last said again. Write this down. Say it each day. Get a name from someone. It doesn't matter what country they're from. They're fallen in war, say their name, they're still alive. Could be your grandfather, whoever it is. These people gave up their tomorrows. Hey, Simon Powell, there you go, mate. So this guy, his service number, that's not his age, team. It was 17. The 17th person to enlist. He was a private, New South Wales Mounted Rifles. Fought in Africa. The colonial military Lancers, I believe it says. South Africa, 1899 to 1902, that was the Boer War, that was the theatre. And he was killed on the 20th of February, 1900. Killed in action, face to the enemy. Legend, salute, and swig of the infantry toothpaste. Let's go. Did you know what the death toll was for World War I? For Australia was 61,717. Can someone look up on their phone now, what was the population of Australia in 1914. 1914, when they were about to go overseas, right? I believe it was about 4 billion, and we had over 400,000 sign up, all volunteers, and died with their face to the foe. Okay, what's the next one? These guys, very interesting fellows. Have a look at their data. This is so well done by the War Memorial. So we've got Private Lawrence Leslie Allen, right? He was part of the 2nd 14th Battalion, and he died, look at the dates, on the 8th of the 9th in 1942 at Brigade Hill, and he was 23 years old. Beside him from another unit was Ronald George Anderson. You know, he was from the 2nd 16th. You know, there's guys that are watching right now from the 2nd 17th. Just because it's an Army Reserve unit doesn't mean that it's not as important. That's where our blood was spilt. That's where we made our reputation with the bayonet and the 303. The German, the Jap, the Italian, they're all allergic to it. Right? So these guys died at Brigade Hill. What's also uncanny about that is Brigade Hill is what you're going to run up when you get to Townsville, Laverick Barracks. So these two gentlemen, we see your face, well-dressed men. They already look so old for their age there. But these young guys died in exactly the same place on exactly the same day. And I wonder, did they know each other? I wonder, did they know each other? Yeah. Some other guys too in the Boer War. Bender William, we'll say your name out there loud there, son. Service number 17 as well. So I don't know what happened with the service number 17. And he was from the Mounted Rifles, New South Wales, and he was from A Squadron. Beside him from A Squadron, same unit, same day, killed was Bennett Arthur Thomas. His service number was 18, which means these guys, these two bros, would have definitely been friends because they signed up one after each other on exactly the same minute. Probably in the same line. Mounted Rifles, New South Wales, A Squadron. To those guys, a toast. They shall grow not old, as we that are old, left grow old. We'll finish the ode in a minute. Good Australian guys. We're about to talk about the questions. Lloydie, lots of name at the name, mate. I promise I'm not a bot. That's okay, bot. Welcome here, mate. Welcome. Guys, this is about remembering to remember. And tomorrow will be a litmus test, the canary in the cave, wherever you work at, to be able to say to people, it's not a crime to not remember, but it is a crime if someone points it out to you that it's Remembrance Day, 11th minute of the 11th hour, of the 11th month, when the guns fell silent, and then you still choose not to turn things off. If you say, I'm too busy, fuck you. Fuck you, buddy. Now, I'm not talking about you guys watching. I'm talking about people in your office. They gave their life. They gave their tomorrows. Their bodies didn't come home, and you can't give them a goddamn minute because the spreadsheet comes first. It's not lunchtime. It's not PT. Do it. If you're a teacher, you're not a teacher if you can't acknowledge it. Right. Here's some questions. This cut me up. This cut me up when I wrote these because it put me in the box where I started to think about the people who have lost their lives. And can they see us now? Are you spiritual? Are you religious? Right. The questions I'd like to ask them. Let's put someone's name up there. Let's put someone's name up there, shall we? Let's look at his face. Right. Private Lawrence Leslie Allen. What would your nickname have been? Probably Al. They probably would have called you Al. Big Al. They would have had a name for you. Okay, what's a nickname that we can give this gentleman that lost his life in Kokoda, defending our very soil from the Japanese, the yellow man who was coming down, pouring down, had 100% success rate at this stage, and was getting ready to hit Australia. What can we give him as a nickname? Who's it going to be? Give him a nickname, team. What would you call this guy? LLA. Come on, team. Can't see the comments. No one's got a name for him? Laurie. Okay, Honky Dog says we call him Laurie. The first thing my son said to me when he got home from school today was Remembrance Day tomorrow, Dad. Harley, you're a good dad, because that's the kind of thing that a good son would say, knowing that it's important to his father. And every school in Australia, to show you just how many of us lost our lives, every one of them, no matter where you go in Australia, there's a role of honour in the school. It's incredible. Laurie, Lanky, Laurie, Lanky sounds like a good one. He looks lanky. Okay, Bretty, I'm going to have to give you the benefit of the doubt there. Honky Donkey, we're going to go with Lanky. Sorry, mate. Bretty. So, Lanky, I've got some questions for you, mate. Son, 23. Can you hear me, mate? Can you hear me? Can you hear us? We're remembering you today. You haven't been forgotten. Here you are. You died in the land of mosquitoes with no mozzie repellent. Right. There's no skipping leg day when you're in Papua New Guinea. I can't not have your brother on there, mate. I can't not have your brother on there. Right. Can you hear us? The other question I'd like to ask you, my man, is what was your favourite food? We've discovered some beautiful food since you left this place, mate. Australia is not renowned for flavour with the culture of its food. It absolutely isn't. But some of the beautiful immigrant food that's come here, and some of the beautiful people that built this country with us, and the people that fought beside us, some of them were fighting against you then, and now our brothers. What was your favourite food? I dare say it wasn't bully beef, mate. This one hurt me hard a little bit. This one hurt. Was there a dog who was waiting by the door for you to come home? Lanky? What about you, Ronnie? Was there a dog waiting for you at the door? Did you have a dog? What was its name? Yeah, an interesting one. To all the dog lovers out there, we know that the animals don't understand, but they love us regardless. Here's another one. You all were normally volunteers from sports clubs. What sport did you play, mate? AFL? Was it VFL at the time? Was it rugby? Was it cricket? Was it boxing? I reckon Ronnie looks like a bit of a boxer there. He actually looks like a mafioso. What was your favourite sport? Maybe it was female tennis. Doesn't go for very long, and the girls were fitter. So that leads us on to the next one, lads. Did the girls like you back in the day? And did you end up putting one between the sheets before you went? I'd hate to think you died a virgin. Yep. Every man deserves the strife that comes with the love and the lust of a woman. We deserve it. Sharon, you reckon, Harley? Okay. Bryce, he says, tomorrow me and Dad are going to our local Remembrance Day, and I'll be proudly wearing my grandfather's medals for the first time. That's a great one. I'm going to say, Liam, you can't wear your dad's. Pride, mate, and I don't mean the pride that comes from a rainbow, if you know what I'm talking about. Here's another one, mate. Whether it be Ronnie or whether it be Lanky. What was your two best mates' names? Did they make it home? Yeah? My daughter's ringing me right now. Wait 2 seconds. It's a birthday tomorrow. I can't not answer it. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, I'm just online at the moment. Can I give you a call once you've relaxed a little bit? You're about to go to bed? I'll give you a call when I get off. I love you, okay? Okay, pretty girl. See ya. Bye-bye. Love you. Takes a man to bring up a daughter. Hopefully one day my balls will drop and I'll become one. Righto. Another one. Feel free to write a question here too, team. What happens when we die, lads? You guys know, we don't. You haven't died your second time I've mentioned your names. Lawrence Leslie Allen, Ronald George Anderson. Right? What happens when we die? Should we stay on Earth as long as we possibly can? Is it awesome up there? Are you guys laughing at us? Who knows? If you could give us any advice now, team, what would you give us? What would you tell us with what you know? You've been up there for a long time now, over 80 years. Did you know that in World War I it was actually a Navy guy that got killed by a German not far from where you were, attacking a signals, infrastructure? If they have family who remember them every year like we do now, I wonder. It's hard to know their Hollywood, because the best Australians weren't born because the bravest Australians fell. Yeah, that's a tough one. So many of our best never loved, or never got a chance to love, or were writing letters to the girl, to the promise that would have been the girl that would have given them 60 children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, etc. The best of Australians, still lie overseas. Some of them in unmarked graves, some of them never found. So what's the best advice you could give us, team? And the last two hurt a little bit. You want to be brought home. Would you rather your body be interned where it is, whether it be by the shovel or whether it be by nature covering you where you are unfound? Would you rather still be lying beside your mates, hopefully not there by yourself lonely? Or would you rather come back to Australia, still call Australia home? You wouldn't even recognise it now. But we're remembering you today. And this is the one that really gets me. What was the last sentence you ever said? What was the last thing you ever said, Laurie? Lanky? What was the last thing you ever said, Ronnie? George? Ando? Hopefully, when you passed, you didn't see it coming. You were laughing, playing cards, maybe even having a smoke, and it was a sniper, and you didn't feel a thing. That's how I hope you went, mate. These are questions I would love to ask you face to face, because we don't get a chance to represent ourselves in the afterlife when shit goes down, whether it be due to poor leadership, whether it be chance, or whether it be the martial arts, and I don't mean, tactical professionality of the soldiers that are against us, a fitting foe, so to speak. So Laurie, Leslie, Alan, and Ronald, George, Anderson, guys, we've thought about you today. Can we get some thumbs up to these lads' team? These are names. Anyone, all you got to do is look online at the War Memorial and the Roll of Honour. There's over 103,000 Australian men that lost their lives. Find one that you don't know and have his name and just read it out. Yep. My relative, Douglas Caswell, right? 28th of July, 1894 was when he was born. He's from the same hometown that I grew up in. Killed in action on the 20th of July, 1916 in Fromelles. His burial location is VC Corner, the Australian Cemetery Memorial. I hadn't got it written there. There was two guys. There was a guy above him and a guy below him on the memorial that tells me that he's there with them. Leave him there. Leave him with his brothers. Let me go and see him instead. Guys, we are surrounded by so many special people. Some of them are at Singo right now. Oh, here we go, 474. Hey, Kaz, got to Singo not long ago and loving every bit of it so far. Hoping you're doing well, mate. Well, the Skippy badge, mate, you're working for it. I wore it for 24 years, and it was an absolute honour. But like the gentleman, before, I think that our government, that it is time that we don't go overseas until we've cleaned up our shit back here. Otherwise, the next fight we're going to have is on our own shores. It's going to be by people we've invited into the hen house, and it's going to be a paramilitary takeover to get the job done. There's certain people in this country that shouldn't be voting, shouldn't be allowed to vote, haven't contributed enough for that vote. Voting should definitely not be compulsory in Australia, and we need someone with some goddamn leadership. It's not fair to say you have to vote, but then give us no candidates worth voting for. Ship of cowards. You know? This is the price. Okay, Lanky, Ando, they're the price for bad politics. They're the price. We shouldn't be allowed to say, oh, I wouldn't fight, I wouldn't serve, but I'm allowed to vote and send you there to fight for something that you don't believe in, but I do, but I'm not going to leave me air conditioning for. That's bullshit. G'day, Chandy, how you going, mate? The audio is cutting out. No. It's funny, it depends what you say, isn't it? Leadership in Australia now is terrible. Yeah, I laugh when people in university talk about leadership. You go, dude, you've got management at best. When I see when I see our politicians and 90% of them couldn't start an electric whippersnipper, you know, but they're in a position where no one even knows how they got there, but they're paid 3 times more than the average person while putting everything on a corporate card, you know, and probably doing nothing for Remembrance Day tomorrow. And if they do, it'll be, how long does this go for? 1 minute. That's the sad part. We didn't invite them. No. Yeah. Remembrance Day, team. It's such a hard day, sad day. You know, you may have grandparents that lost their lives. I've got friends. Okay, I'm going to read something to you. Hang with me for a second. This is a poem I wrote for Benjamin Chuck, you know, for Scotty Palmer and for Tim Applin when they lost their life. They all got killed in a helicopter crash on the way for a prosecution of a target in Afghanistan. You know, it's called the Immortal 3. I'm going to turn me back on you for a second, so feel free to stab it. But I've got the mic in, so this should work fine. Let us know if it doesn't. This is called the Immortal 3. I'll face away because it's also emotional. I wrote this, didn't go to bed until it was done, and it was for a tribute to their fucking family members. Benjamin Chuck. He's on the thumbnail there that you can see. Handsome guy. Kickboxer, also helicopter pilot, and crocodile tamer, if there is a such thing. Woof, woof. Here we go. Did you know that I was a poet? Part of the reason I have such a hard time with my memories is because I kept a diary. And when you keep a diary, that locks in the bad things that are happening in your mind too. Forever. So this is it, team. The Immortal 3. For those who choose green and gold replaced by desert cams and boots tight laced, a rifle knife and greasy gun, rain, snow and heat, no home, no fun. And when the time to fight arrives, a bill is paid, not in cash but lives. Usually theirs, but sometimes ours. Unwelcome, sorry, heartfelt hours. No time for hugs, no time for flowers. But now the fight has come to an end for 3. Not your time and not for me. Timmy, Chucky and Palmer too. Sorry, boys, the price was you. So those that still stand, take a knee. Brothers, but not blood are we. Today the Lord takes his prize with 3 brand new Aussies' lives, bronzed Aussies' lives. For all those men that call them brothers, weep not for them, but for their mothers. For the heroes 3 have stepped through God's portal, their bodies to dust, their names now immortal. So, I don't know if you've heard that. It was a Black Hawk, but these lads, I knew 2 of them. I was at Timmy Applin's barbecue the day before he left. Benjamin Chuck, you know, his father, Gordon Chuck, is a fantastic man. And every day, you know, he mourns for his son and the hero's walk that was created for them. I say this for Hollywood. He loves the saying, my heroes don't wear capes, they wear night vision. You know, I don't need to fabricate someone to be something other than what I would have expected them to be 2,000 years ago in the legions of Rome. serve, love your family, step up to the plate, but know that the fight you're getting sent to was worth the squeeze, so to speak. You know, there's nothing worse than being a veteran. You know, like we say, you can say whatever you want to me, but don't say it to me buddies, don't say it to their families, don't say it to their kids. And when we see the disrespect that happens sometimes, you know, or the lack of, I don't know, the lack of pondering and lessons learnt by those that know secretly they don't give a fuck because they will never, you know, stand for anything unless it's Palestinian, Black Lives Matter, LGBT, trans, you know, open borders or anything else, then it's weird. The people that get every single topic wrong despise the people that provide their security. I give all the respect to the people that are serving that don't know what their future has in store. The guys from Ukraine didn't know they were going to be in the fight of their life in 2013, going into the corruption of 2014, and then leading into the war that was happening now. They didn't realise their world was going to be ripped apart. The people in Syria didn't know they were going to get torn to pieces. You know, the people in Sudan right now are going through hell on earth. And so are the Christians in Nigeria. And you don't hear anything about it. Dior. Yeah, Kaz, after 5 months, I finally got up to my medical. You know what they'll do on the day? It's not the day to ask the question, mate. Sorry, Dior. We'll talk about that in another stream, mate. Sorry, buddy. Harley, is Scotty Palmer's dad a retired Rafi and Catherine? Probably. It probably is, Simon. It normally runs in the family. He's come a long way from a Rafi to Special Forces. Hey, Braden, I've had one of my ancestors died in the Boer War and others in World War I, World War II career in Vietnam. Holy shit, mate, you should join and keep the tour going, mate. Yeah. Harley, Scotty Palmer's dad, a retired Rafi and Catherine. Yeah, okay, that was Harley. Was it? Guys, did you have any questions that you'd ask for the diggers? For Lanky? For Ando? Is there a name that you can look up on your phone right now and put it into the comments? Let's have a look what the people wrote, what the questions they'd ask. I think a lot of people missed what we're actually asking, you know. I think they missed the point of the activity. Okay, so here's the questions. Someone wrote. Okay, so Toddy says, no idea. I think I would let my grandfather tell me what he never could, and his children, my mother and his brother and sister. He was a rat to Brook. Thanks for what you do, Kaz. Thank you for Toddy Currell. We've got Gutsy. He says, I know it's not a question, but just thank you for your service and sacrifice. He'd say to the gent. Gutsy's living in Bali now, and he's a veteran himself. Okay, Paulie Laws says, I served with all these guys. My grandfather served in New Guinea and developed Parkinson's when I was young, so if I had a conversation where he can talk properly, I could understand him better. Okay. Sean Ransom, after watching a 100-year-old ex-RSM here, after watching the 100-year-old British World War II veteran talking about Remembrance Day and the current situation in the UK, I'd ask how fallen their thoughts on the current predicament of the world and Australia. Was the sacrifice worth it, and would they do it again if they had the choice? I think that Ranso is a very proud man, as am I. Regardless of what happens back in Australia, we know that we'd go and do it, right? We know we would, because that's what we do. We don't be victims. It'd just break your heart even more. Okay, Johnny says, I'd ask if he wanted to smoke and a long neck. All right. Rhonda Douglas lost a relative in the Somme in World War I. That was terrible. Did you know that between April, and September in 1918, out of the 67,000 that we lost over in World War I, 45,000 died in the last 6 months of the war? Terrible. Uncles fought in World War II. Absolute respect for all our soldiers. To you, Rhonda, all the best to you, my dear. Rory Anthony, no, I wouldn't say a thing. I'd simply apologise. yeah, just buy him a beer and say, chew my ear off, mate. Greggy Ralph. Nothing I'd want to hear them speak for what they wanted me to do for them. Yep. Christine Turner, the sister of Ian Turner, one of my favourite people who lost his life with the black dog. He died on the same day as James Meredith Hupp, you know, Jodie and Maddie's son from the USA. We've got a poem for them too, which is beautiful. Not really a response you're probably wanting, but I would just love to hear their voices again. That's beautiful. We all know that, of course, Ian would include plenty of his colourful language. He was a swearing motherfucker, that dude. Yeah. We've got Kim here, says, I think I'd like to tell them how much I appreciate all that they've given so I could live the life I've had to apologise, and I'd apologise for what our government, has done to this once great country they fought for. That is a clippable message. Imagine if you wore that as a T-shirt. Pete Brinkworth, one of the best snipers I've ever known and one of the best instructors and one of the best men I've ever known. Answer any question they ask and apologise for what our world has become after their sacrifices. Pete Brinkworth, love you, mate. Ken, my grandfather was a rat at Tobruk as well in New Guinea. He never left the war. He would be stabbing Germans at the Christmas table. I distanced myself from him when I joined and never really got to know him. He scared the shit out of me. I really know he had it rough though. Yep. That's a beautiful message. Fiona Coffey, she works in Defence Bank in the School of Infantry. If you're watching right now, go there and tell her that I sent you. She'll put an arm around you. She'll give you a bit of that motherly attention. She's one of the finest women I've ever met in my life, but her last name pisses me off because every time you talk to someone last name Coffey, time for another one. You're not sure if there's a question, just say, I love you and thank you for your service. Love you, Kaz, and thank you for your service. That's actually beautiful. I love this lady. Kim, I have 71 fallen relatives. Would love to just meet them. Holy shit. 71. They were either goddamn brave or there were some bad soldiers at Fire and Moving. I'd ask my, Leanne Lonsdale says, I would ask my husband's grandfather who fought in World War II about his experience. Tell him how proud his grandson is wearing his medals. That is beautiful on Anzac Day. Thanks for your service. That is a beautiful comment. Gav, this guy's a legend too. Would not ask any question, but would rather have a beer and listen to every word they spoke. I would thank them for what they have done and apologies for the fucking mess we live in now. Absolutely beautiful, team. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, we've got 4 comments. I asked yous. This is what I asked.
It is time for some somber requests. Tomorrow is Remembrance Day, the day the guns fell silent. If you could go back and you could talk to anyone that fell who wasn't returned home to the Girt by Sea, what's a question that you would ask them if they could talk? And remember the saying, a man dies twice. When he physically leaves this planet and when his name stops being mentioned out loud. Find a name, a random name. Boer War, First World War, Second World War, Vietnam.
What happened then? Okay, so the questions. Not a bot. There you go. It was the first one, I think. If you didn't go to war, would you still be doing what you are doing today? This isn't directed to anyone, just the fallen, and saying that I did have my pop and my great uncle both fight in Vietnam for Australia. My pop did too in '67. They came home. They both had a massive influence on me growing up to be a young fella. My dad wasn't there, but they were. Strong men I respect until my last day. Absolutely beautiful. That's what we talk about, a legacy team, not a bot. Thank you. Brady, one of the longest serving members in our channel. Sergeant Samuel Pearce, VC, military medal. I'd ask him what propelled him to fight in another campaign after the guns fell silent and how he'd feel knowing his medals are displayed in the War Memorial. Yet his remains languish in a foreign country with no action from the government to return him home, lest we forget. Brady, take some sort of condolence in thinking that he's laying with his brothers, mate. Because I don't know if I'd want to disturb the grave of Douglas, you know. I'd love to leave him where his brothers are. Okay. Scooter Aussie. Dean, look forward to your questions. For me, I would like to say thank you in person. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Australia's full of good people, team. It is. Lighty. He just said my name. Guys, you want to talk to these people. They gave everything. Yeah? You know, I understand a lot of people don't have military in their family. I understand a lot of them don't think it's a fucking big deal because it's not about them and they're the hero of their own story. You know, they might be psychopaths, sociopaths, and not even understand. When you ask a lot of people, like we say about Rome, they don't even know why it's important. But to anyone that cares about Rome is because it's a footpath, it's a projection of the future, and we're seeing it playing out as well right now across the Western world. We know the way it ends. We know the way it ends. And these people will be the last or the first to be eaten once their need is over. They are vampire familiars. New York just elected a Muslim in the epicenter of Islamic terrorism in the USA. More than 343, great number, 343, firemen lost their lives, and probably as many again since then because of cancers, because of the dust, because of the black dog. I don't know how many police it was. It's one of the rudest things I've ever seen, that the youth that don't even remember or bother looking up what happened in New York voted in the very people that carried out the Pearl Harbor attack on their own city. I don't understand. It's a traitor move. It really is. And as for that guy, I hope he's successful because I never want to see people fail. But I haven't got me hopes up. I haven't got my hopes up, and he should have had better sense to do it in any other state than New York. I don't know what I'd asked Dad, but grandfather who came home and died at 94 said it was a privilege to grow old. He had his best life. That's awesome. Yeah, that's it. Guys, you can ask any veteran. I had this big conversation with Hollywood. I had a big conversation with him. I said, and I remind him, you can say anything to a soldier, you know, and a veteran that served overseas, but just remember there is a price to pay for the veteran to let you know about his life, and you may not be able to shut him up once he starts talking. It might just start coming out. That's why we have the PTSD courses, so you can learn how to talk about your problems. You'd be absolutely gobsmacked if you knew how many soldiers had lost their lives to the black dog because of their inability to communicate with others or their inability to pull themselves away from drinking alcohol and substance abuse. It'll drag you into a dark place. Don't do it, or at least minimise it. Be like a European. Have a couple of red wines, and that's it. It'll make you feel good. It'll loosen your tongue. It'll let you talk about politics, religion, and all the cool shit. You know? But don't drink until you're laying down at a taxi rank. Both my granddads died in the Iraq-Iran war before I was born, but we know a lot about them. Were they, where were they from? Where were they from, mate? What country were they from, default profile? My hero is Harry Hubert, QSM, service number 197041. Jenny, thank you. Tell us something about Harry Hubert. Did you get to meet him, doll? Well, these men had to go against their will and leave their kids behind. Absolutely. And for those that want to hate the soldier for what happens, just remember, the soldier doesn't go, hey, I want to go and fight. A government decides that's where we're going to send you, that I won't go myself. When it's safe enough, I'll come over and I'll visit you once the air conditioning is set up. Scotty, evening all, just stopping past while a smoke out and enjoying a standard NATO. There you go. Well, now I want another coffee. I hope we're all doing well. We are doing well. We're getting ready for Remembrance Day tomorrow, Scotty. He's got a son who's serving. He's got a dog in the fight. He's got every reason to say to a politician, pull your head in. Represent my son better. Default profile. Well, they were Aussie Iraqis. Okay. They happened to be visiting family for a month, just got conscripted by the regime at the time to fight Iran. That was a bloody fight that went back and forth. That was a war of attrition, that one. And it'll happen again, I reckon, especially now that Iraq is starting to evolve itself into one of the more developing countries in the Arab world. Had to leave their friends and shit in Australia to die in Iran. That's sad, man. It's sad no matter where it happens. You never hear me condemning the enemy team unless it's terrorism, right? The soldier steps up and does what his job is, and he dies with his face to the foe. Right? Tomorrow, I don't care what you wear, but turn up for 1 minute or shut the fuck up in the office and make sure you either take someone with you, and educate them, or tell your office, that's it. It's 5 minutes. Keep it down. Get off your phones unless you're in an Indian scam centre. Is QSM Queen Service Medal. I actually don't know what that. I thought you had CSM written there, which is Company Sergeant Major. It sounds about right, my dear. Yeah. We live in a crazy world, team. We don't appear to be learning our lessons, or maybe we do, because the brave are still the ones that step up and do the fighting for those that are only brave verbally or on keyboards, who represent the wrong side every time, all the time, while still claiming to be the victim himself. It's incredible. Incredible. But I really hope that you have at least see that we've put an effort in tonight. Default profile, something I respect about America is most Americans generally have great respect for their dead soldiers. Here, people do have respect, but to a lesser extent. I don't think that's the case. I think we're just not as vocal. When you go out on Anzac Days, it is incredible the turn up that happens everywhere in Australia. The silent majority, the silent majority. Say something about the Anzacs and watch how quick you got to go to the dentist after it, and you'll realise that Australia's patriotism is more subdued. Tomorrow, take your hat off. Unless you're bald and it's sunny. Yeah. I don't think you have to take your hat off, Same as you don't necessarily have to wear your medals if you've got them. Just dress up, turn up, watch, and know when to shut up. And please don't look to the left and right of the people that don't care, that are walking past out of ignorance. Otherwise, it can ruin your day and take you off your kilter. Soldiers and children and communication and future. Let's say go, mate. Let's Rambo and let's shed a tear for our nation, with soon to be imposed under 16 bans, which is just, it's coming, mate. It's coming. Hollywood says my great-grandma was conceived in Egypt when the AIF trained there. When her mum came to Australia, couldn't find the father, wish we could track him, and what happened to him? Man, a way to monitor and control us all. That's right, Klitz. Hollywood, it was one of the saddest things when I'd go through the Commonwealth war graves in Egypt and in Israel, as well as the Sinai Peninsula. There was not a blade of grass out of place. The places were spectacular, immaculate, but they were alone. Now, everywhere you went, there was people that were working on the graves, dusting them. One of the things you're supposed to do when you go to a grave is put a stone, a little pebble, just on top of the gravestone, and it lets people know that someone else was here before you, like the poppy. When you go to the War Memorial, you don't have to look up your own family names on the walls of honour, over 103,000 men. Go to where there's a desert of no poppies there, the forgotten names, and stand there for 10 minutes and read through the names out loud. That way, the second time a man dies has been averted, or at least prolonged. We have a deeper Celtic remembrance of our dead. Okay? Yes, it means Queen's Service Bell. There you go, Jen. Now we both know. Thank you. So tomorrow, I get to wake up knowing that this day, 14 years ago, my little girl was about to come into the world. All I ever wanted to be was a good dad once I knew it was coming. I didn't have all the answers. But I tell you what, well, we've got people that are willing to stand up. For those that can't stand up, then our job is done. Because I like to think that there's something after this life, you know, and you've either got to be scared of the Lord or you've got to be scared of the state. If you're scared of the state, that's not a good life to be in. It's not a good life at all. And they're about to find out in New York, and you're about to see it all unfold on YouTube. Imagine what's going to happen when the homeless make that bus their home. It doesn't cost anything to be on it. And then you wake them up or disturb them. Right? The people that have been falling through the cracks. There's 3 different things you can do with those people. And they're all to do with respect. It's to do with shelter. You know, and we won't mention it on here. You know, but leaving them in the street, that's not fair. It's not fair on them. And it's not fair on the kids it scares the shit out of, or the population that's starting to think it's normal. Everyone deserves a pillow. Well, most people. Kid, us what happened that medal is awarded for. Good night, Brycey. How you going, mate? And I hope you're feeling better, mate. And Liam, you're a young legend, mate. Thank you for what you do for your father. I'll do the ode before you get out of here, mate. I only found out the other day my grandfather served in the British Parachute Regiment, the Paras. They're a hard bunch of blokes. Throughout World War II and fought in North Africa and Italy. I never spoke to him, but I would love to follow his footsteps. They're big footsteps, very big. Not a bot. I believe consciousness lives on. I'm not saying death is good, but I say we are all one, and we will live on. And not a bot. I appreciate that, and I hope you're there. Yeah. This is one of the most beautiful things I've got. I've got the medals, got the poppy, got my cross from Jerusalem that I bought there beside the Holy Sepulchre. But this is one of the best things I've ever kept. Do it if you get it. That is my daughter's pregnancy test. Doesn't smell like wee. That was when my daughter officially became my daughter. When this turned red, I shit myself, saw the second line. That was when my daughter changed the way I look at the world. Everything. You know, everything has a purpose. And that's all I've got to do. That's what defines me. I'll see you later, team, before we go. We need to make the best future. We need to keep our politicians honest. You know, we need to be hard in our resolve. We need to keep Australia great. We need to make it great again. We need to get rid of the people at the top. Don't know how we can do that when we're already voting for the bottom of the barrel. But what I will say for all those that lost their lives, okay, we'll put their names up there, put them up there quickly now. Samuel Charles, the first man to fall. And these guys that fell beside each other on the same day in New Guinea on Brigade Hill. Wait. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. And at the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. And tonight we did, lest we forget. Thank you, team. There's people wearing uniforms right now that don't know whether their career's over, whether it'll be in a box or whether it'll be in a suit. But I can rest assure you, you know, you are being represented by people with the echoes of the past in their veins, and we should be very proud of them. Okay? Take it easy, team. Still call Australia home. I just get disappointed sometimes. To the 103,000 that fell, God bless you, and I hope your families came with peace. See you later. Thank you, guys, and mucho respect to all of you. 1 minute, that's all I want in return. They served after we called.